another bike, another speedo. Now I swear the guy that was selling these back in the day, he must be sitting pretty now, because they are on every single bike that I seem to be getting lately. And I mean, I guess in the age now of bike computers, they're probably not so much relevant, but all the ones that I seem to get are either broken or like this one, missing the screen. So yeah, one of the first things we'll be doing is getting rid of this. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about a pub bike and why you need one. Now, it is unfortunate in this day and age, theft is becoming more and more common. And if you're a part of your local community Facebook group, no doubt you'll notice that bike theft is becoming more and more popular. I had my favorite BMX bike stolen when I was a kid, and I was absolutely gutted. And from that moment, it's always given me that anxious feeling when you leave one of your prized possessions out of sight and you know that some arsehole can just come along and feel like they deserve it more than you. And while no one should have to deal with having their bike stolen, what if it was a bike that you could afford to lose? And that's where pub bikes come in. A bike that is so cheap that if it does get stolen, it will be nothing more than a minor inconvenience, rather than if your pride and joy got stolen and it becomes a huge financial loss. What we have here will be exactly that. So this is one of many bikes that I recently picked up, and while technically, if you were to even out the cost of all of the bikes, this cost me $20. The other bikes that I got are worth far more than this, and I would consider this bike something that you could probably pick up off Marketplace for free. It does require work. However, I would rather put a couple of dollars into this and hand it on to somebody and know that it's going to be ridden, rather than to see it end up in landfill or just rusting away in someone's shed. Considering an Uber from my house to the local pub is $30, making a round trip approximately $60. The budget that I'm going to set for this bike is $60, which means that if you were to use this bike to commute to the pub and back again, one time, it's paid for itself. As I said at the start of the video, this speedo was the first thing to go. So not only was it not working, by just simply removing it has instantly cleaned up the front end of the bike and has made it look a lot better straight away. And while we're up in the front end of the bike, I'll remove this ratty old bar tape. Sometimes if the bar tape is in okay condition, I'll unravel it and rewrap it. However, on the other side, it was torn halfway down and then retaped, so there wasn't much point in reusing it. Now you can see here it's pretty crusty underneath, so I'll just cut through these bits of tape that's holding the cable on and just give it a bit of a clean up before we rewrap these bars. Underneath the saddle, it come with this saddlebag here, which on the outside looked okay, but I opened it up and it was actually full of mold. So yeah, definitely didn't want the new owner to think that they were getting a bargain with a saddlebag attached, open it up and see that inside. So this is just going straight in the bin. So we'll get the front wheel off and I'll talk you through what's about to happen. The tyres on this bike are pretty well stuffed, the front one especially. The back one you could probably get away with. However, I do have a couple of tyres that are matching laying around, and I'll be putting them on this bike. For example, yesterday I went and picked up 2 wheel sets, complete with tyres and tubes, for $20. And they're gonna be going on another bike that I have coming up in a video. For argument's sake, we'll say that the tyres alone cost $20. And I think you will be able to comfortably find a pair of half decent tyres on Facebook Marketplace for 20 bucks. So much like the front wheel, we'll remove the rear wheel and swap the tyre over. Also, while the wheel is off, we'll remove the dork disc as it has yellowed. The clips on it were also broken, so it just sort of rattled around. It didn't stay in place, and you can see it was quite brittle, so it come off quite easily. So my process for adjusting the brakes is to wind the barrel adjuster out, hold the brake caliper in tight, adjust the cable so it's tight, and then just wind the barrel adjuster back in to create a small amount of gap between the pad and the rim. And you can see here that they work quite well and there's not too much pull on the lever. So the paint itself was in a pretty sorry state. There was lots of marks all over. There is a lot of scratches. Now I understand that I'm not going to be able to polish out any of the scratches. However, much like a red car, a bit of polish goes a long way on a red bike. It was mentioned by Henrik in a previous video that the angle of my bars would be better if the drops were in a more horizontal position. And while I 100% agree that that is the correct way to have your handlebars, I don't actually ever really sprint in the drops. And I prefer to set my handlebars up so the tops are in a more level position, just due to avoiding wrist discomfort on a long ride. So yeah, I agree that the bars are probably in the wrong position technically, but they make for a more comfortable ride for me in the long run. Now, a bad habit that I've picked up from somewhere, and I'm not sure where, but I have been doing this for the longest time, is that I wrap my tape outward on the drops and the tops. Now, it was mentioned in one of my previous videos by Pikey McBeardface, if that is your real name, that the tops should be wrapped inward, as that is the natural direction that your wrists are going to twist the tape. And by wrapping it outward the way that I am, it's likely that you will slowly unravel the tape over time. So I promise that I'm listening to these comments. It is just that I had already filmed me wrapping this tape before you had posted that comment. So the next time you see me wrap tape around some drop bars, I'll do it the right way, I promise. And you can see the front end of the bike is cleaned up quite nicely. No clutter and a very sleek look to a very nice bike. And with that, we are ready to ride. I hope it shows on camera just how good this bike come up with a wash and a little bit of polish. Along with the tyres and the bar tape, we have brought life back into a bike that was basically in unrideable condition. For the budget, if we're saying that the bike cost 20, the bar tape was 19 and a pair of tyres was 20, we'll allow $1 for some chain lube and a spot of polish on a rag. We're gonna be right on budget at that $60 mark. And with that, what we have is a bike that's probably worth $60 to $80, but that isn't the point of this exercise. The whole point of this was to show what you can do for the cost of a single Uber ride. As long as your bike doesn't get stolen on your first trip out, essentially every trip after that is money in your pocket. So as always, we're gonna take this out for a ride. I've given it a basic fit. We'll take it out, make sure that everything works as it should, and we'll make sure that it is fit for purpose.
Spoken to the camera so far because it has been insanely windy the whole way. out and back. It doesn't really matter which way you're going at the moment. There is a cyclone that is sort of just off of the coast here on the Sunshine Coast at the moment. So yeah, it's just like blowing a gale everywhere. But it looks like on the forecast it's going to piss down rain all week. So I thought if I don't get out today, I won't get a chance to get out. So like you would have just seen, we went out to the pub, which is just near Aussie World, right on the highway. And that's only like 12 Ks from my house. And yeah, now we're on our way back. I just thought I'd pull over at this underpass here on the highway. It's painted up, pretty cool. Every time I come past it, it looks like it's been touched up or gone over. It looks like they've just freshly redone this, and yeah, it looks awesome. So great backdrop for a photo of the bike as well. So yeah, I'm not gonna hang around here too long because all the clouds are blowing off the coast over the top of me at the moment, and in the distance it does look like it's getting pretty black, like over my house. The quicker I get home, the less likely it is that I get saturated.